my name is Joey. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that I'm here. For those of you who are a regular in this really creative community, then you know that I have been really sick, as well as my son. My son is disabled. We both got this flu. He quickly got very serious complications, and we've been in the hospital for over 2 weeks. So we're still not totally well, but this was what was on my work table when this firestorm of illness hit us. I get 2 boxes every month that come directly from the Czech Republic. One of them is called Czech Beads Exclusive, and I had already filmed that video. For those of you that are not new here, my videos are filmed sometimes 3 weeks in advance, so there was not a lot of dead air on my channel while I was so sick. But this is the second box that I get. It's called Bohem style, and this is a complete DIY jewelry kit for 2 pieces of jewelry. It's so cute. It comes with this little window every month, and with this kit you get everything that you need to make usually 2 pieces of jewelry, sometimes more, and on your little insert you get a code that will take you to a full video tutorial for how to put the pieces together. And you get literally everything that you need. You get all your jump rings, your extender chain, your findings, crimp beads, lobster claw clasp, like everything that you need, plus the beads. And it's just really fun. If you love to do the handiwork, but you don't want to pull your own beads and do the design, this is for you. But if you're like me and you've been making jewelry forever and you want to design your own things, you have such beautiful supplies to work with. The other box that I get from this company that I mentioned, called Czech Beads Exclusive, this was what I did with the March box, this beautiful little flower garden bracelet, and I did a pair of earrings. Really sweet. I mean, you can make such beautiful jewelry. This was last month's Czech Beads Exclusive. They did this World of Beloved Animals box, and I have my beautiful little cat playing with a ball of yarn, my naughty little cat, and my dog with the bone in its mouth. And the beads are just such high quality, and you can just make such beautiful things with this box. So I'm just going to do a quick preview of what was in the Bohem style box, the DIY kit, and I'm going to make a quick bracelet because I just feel desperate to get back to designing and making jewelry after all of this craziness the last few weeks. So in this box we got, to me this is really boho, really the true boho. It's not only the colors of these pretty greens and beige colors and orange, and then they put in a little piece of leather cord that's meant for the necklace that you can make with this. There's also this beautiful tree pendant, which is so perfect for spring. All the trees are blooming. This is one of my favorite beads. I love this oval with the little flower in the middle and the Picasso wash around the edge. It's just so beautiful. It's the shape of a cameo, and can never have enough Czech glass flowers in my book. I love these little flowers. And this little table cut bead. Table cut bead is flat. You can see the slice there and how shiny and straight it is, but it has this beautiful Picasso wash and looks like maybe even another paint finish on there. There are several little 4mm beads to use as spacers. This beautiful green, it is a clear, you almost can't see that it's a clear green because of the Picasso wash on top. It gives us this beautiful earthy color, some little cube beads. The findings were antique brass, and we got a couple of these rings. A few of my beads are missing, even a couple of my gorgeous orange Picasso wash Czech glass leaves, because I already had started designing this piece. So let me show you what I am working on with. Did I miss anything? That's pretty much everything. So I have taken like individual elements and just done some simple looped components, and I'm going to use one of my rings, but I wanted to do something different with the leather. In boho designs with leather, and especially this chocolate brown, and I tend to knot things, do a lot of knotting, and I wanted to do something different. So I've made this little swirly, squiggly component with the leather and the beads and some wire, and I'll show you how I did that. But that's going to be one of the components in my bracelet. And then I just took 2 of the check glass leaves and put one of these beautiful Tibetan spacers in between. And I am going to use some of the extender chain. They always give us extender chain for this. And then I just took another one of those little spacers and a cube and an orange little 4mm, and I'm just going to make a little dangle. For me, I just can't stand to have the last link in an extender chain empty. It just looks so unfinished. So that's just my style. But let me show you what I did for the leather component first. You can probably do this if you have a very small office type hole punch, but I have this leather punch. I'm a jewelry toolaholic. Many of you already know that about me, and I've been collecting tools for years. So, you know, tools do make things a lot easier. But this leather is quite narrow for being flat leather, so you do have to be careful. I think you could even create your hole with a pin, but it would be a little bit more work. So I'm just going to come to the end of my leather piece here and just make sure that I'm centering my leather punch right in the middle, because I don't want to, you know, I want my hole to be in the center of the leather. I don't want to break the leather. So I just put a little hole in there, clean away the part that got punched out. And then I'm going to take a little piece of, for those orange beads, I needed 22 gauge wire. So just a little piece of 22 gauge wire. That is the thickest diameter that would go through these little orange beads, and that's generally my rule of thumb. I don't love making components with 22 gauge wire, but sometimes it's necessary. And I'm using my 2¼ mm one-step looper. I just like that size when I'm making sort of articulated components because they move more freely. And just get this closed really well, and I will open and close on that loop to work harden it. And then I'm going to take that leather piece and feed that onto my wire. I want this to be a little bit straighter before I do. There we go. And just feed this onto my wire and feed it down to the loop, and then a bead. You could lay this out and measure and punch your holes first, but I measure with my heart. That's just kind of my way of making my jewelry. So I'm going to just make another little loop, and it's going to be right about there for my next hole punch. I think I can even just leave that, and I'll go ahead and guess. I'm just eyeballing where my next punch needs to be. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you could measure if this eyeballing it drives you crazy, you could totally measure. Okay, let me go again. Put this. This in, put a bead, and then I'm just going to get that one on, and then another bead. And then feed my last little hole onto the wire, and then another bead. And just push everything down to the loop. And I'm going to turn it so that I can get my one-step looper in here. I gotta do one got to do one more. It's so funny, I was working on this 2 weeks ago when all this sickness hit my family, and I've a little bit forgotten, you know, where I was in the project and in the design, and I'm realizing that I've been, well, I should have been in bed, but I was sitting in a chair next to my son's hospital bed, and I'm pretty weak myself, and this is my first day getting back to work a little bit, and boy, it feels like I've been away for a year. Okay, now I'm just going to complete this little component by coming back in with my one-step looper. You can totally do your loops with your pliers if that's the way you like to do them. I like, when I'm doing components like this, I like the consistency of all my loops being the same. My leather was in the way a little bit. I'm just going to do the same thing on this side, just close this loop really well and work harden. I'm going to trim my leather just a little bit. So just a really cute little leather component to add in, to add a little texture and a little something different into this bracelet. So I'm going to just connect these, but there were some beautiful little jump rings. We got oval jump rings in this month's box, and these round ones. Let's see what else is in here, and lobster claw. I love this box so much because if you want to do the projects, you totally can, but you get such beautiful supplies if you want to do your own thing, which is what I normally do. Let's see, I think I'm going to use the round ones to do some connecting. And now I am simply going to start connecting all of these elements. So I'm going to open this little component and put my extender chain here. And I'm going to use a round jump ring to connect. I'm just going to work my way down the length of my bracelet, just connecting. And then I'm going to use this ring to put my lobster claw on this end. And make a little, do a little wire wrapped loop because my head pins are so fine. These little ball head pins that I have are really fine, so I'm going to do a wire wrapped loop here. And this is going to be my final decoration on my curb chain, my extender chain. I'm going to open this last link here and drop that on. And the cool thing about this design is if you wanted a very boho anklet, this can be done for an anklet as well because it's adjustable. This chain, like this lobster claw clasp, can go anywhere on the extender chain. And so even if you wanted to add one more component into this, and there were plenty of beads in the box, this makes a beautiful, it makes a really beautiful boho anklet as well. But I just wanted to do a little something different with the leather instead of, you know, more knots. And I thought that was really a cute idea, and it's super easy. And I got a little bit of all the colors in my bracelet as well. So adjustable bracelet or anklet. This month's box was so lovely. I just love getting these boxes from the Czech Republic. So check the description box for links to the Kraftika company. I am going to edit out all the coughing, but also these little Tibetan spacers that I brought in from my stash. Many of you have seen this bead assortment before with the large hole spacers and all the different Tibetan spacers. They're so useful in design, and they come in other metal finishes as well. I just love the antique gold. But I thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy to be back to work and back being part of our creative community. And as always, check the description box. Everything will be there for your convenience, all the links. And I thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody is safe and truly well and having fun on your beading mats. Ciao, friends.